Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the clearance demo. We're going to take a few minutes and just give everyone a chance to actually sign on. So just give us a few minutes. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to give it a few more minutes and see if any other people actually sign on. We had quite a few more attendees that had registered, so be just a few more minutes. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm just going to check with my sales engineer and see if he can hear me. Andy, are you there?
Hi, Lindy. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Thank you for joining me. So my name is Lindy Nolan. I'm a channel sales specialist. I cover the territories for the central United States area. I cover David Brainerd, and Andy is the sales engineer for David Brainerd, and I also cover Renan Woods. So this is we're going to try something different today because I would generally have Howard Rosenthal actually helping me, and he was unavailable today. So Andy's going to be here in case you have any questions. There is a chat window on the GoToWebinar. If you have any questions, feel free to actually type them in, and hopefully Andy will be able to see those, and he will be able to alert me that we have some questions. Andy, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Andrew Bauer. I'm the sales engineer for Missouri, Kansas, Nebraska. As Lindy mentioned, David Brainerd is my regional salesperson, and Lindy helps. Lindy's always a big help handling all the quotes we run through. So thank you for all your support, Lindy.
Well, thank you, Andy. It's always great to work with you. I appreciate it. And hello to anybody who is actually in the territories that we both cover. So today we're going to talk about Genetec Clearance. Clearance is a collaborative digital case management system that can speed up investigations by allowing you to securely collect, manage, and share evidence all in one location. A VMS is the primary system that organizations use to monitor and review video. However, when an event occurs, recordings typically have to be shared with parties without the access to the client. This is one of our challenges that many of our clients were looking to overcome. As they wanted to reduce the risk of sharing evidence via USB and the time that it requires. And even by saving evidence to CDs and being able to actually share them in that manner. Most computers today don't even have CDs, so that's a really antiquated way of actually sharing evidence. It's also very insecure. It can get in the wrong hands. You never have any control as far as who actually has the evidence. Through Security Desk, a user can export recordings directly into Clearance. Videos are assigned to the user with permissions to the case that is selected at the export. Uploads are encrypted, and only users within these departments can access the recordings to avoid the loss of sensitive data. Clients can also configure the category and assign a retention period that will automatically delete files based on the policies prescribed by an organization. You'll have to forgive me, I'm a little congested. My allergies are bothering me, so I am trying to actually suck on a cough drop and trying to actually keep my voice. So bear with me, and I apologize. Clients can also configure the category and assign a retention period that will automatically delete files based on the policies prescribed by that organization. For example, videos that need to be shared externally can be deleted after 30 to 60 days, while files that must be kept due to litigations can be conserved for several months or years. Clearance is also integrated with Active Directory, which allows organizations to use their existing Active Directory. Bear with me just a minute. I'm getting a little bit of a feedback. I'm going to actually mute you just for a minute, Andy, and I will get back to you.
Sure.
Clearance is designed as a completely independent application. It is entirely browser-based to ensure that users that require access to the evidence do not need to install any applications, such as a standalone video player. It can not only be used with Security Center exports, but recordings from other VMS, documents, and photos, and any other types of digital files. These can be sources such as body wearable cameras, in-car systems, cell phones, CAD or computer-aided dispatch, RMS or record management systems, and others. So as you can see, this is our home page. When you log into the Genetec Clearance, it automatically puts all of your most recent cases under My Activities, and you can search it for any of the cases based on the dates, based on the activities. To the right, there's lots of news on the Genetec clearance, and there's also how-to videos that are very helpful for anyone who actually is new to clearance or may need further details. There's some very, very descriptive videos here. So the case is the primary entity type in clearance, where you can associate access rights, files, and other metadata, such as incident times, locations, and tags. I'll show you just how easy it is to create a case. So under the home page in My Activities, you click on Create a Case. So for test purposes, we're going to actually just label this one Test and today's date. Oops. So for demo purposes, I'm just going to assign it a random number. In an actual case, this is where you would actually put your record numbers and your incident numbers. So today we're going to actually show you some videos and that actually involve an incident that takes place in a convenience store. So we're going to label this as an assault. I'm going to say that this incident happened yesterday, somewhere around this same time. And I'm going to say it was about a 15-minute process. So tags are custom tags that you can actually add. The more tags that you add, the easier it is to actually search. So for this one, I'm going to actually use assault, fight, slap, store. And location is generated through Google Maps. So as you start typing in the address, it will actually find the coordinates. There's also a button too if you would like to actually protect it from deletion. So while you're in clearance, you always want to save and save often. It's very important so that you don't lose any of your information that you've added. Excuse me a second. So as you can see, as I've saved my files, it now has populated our permissions, and it's also given me the option to be able to add files. Clearance tracks all user actions in the system to ensure chain of evidence is maintained. By tracking source metadata and activity, we can ensure the integrity of the evidence and validate that only authorized sources have access to that evidence. There are several methods to upload files to clearance. For Security Center users, files can automatically be added from the GSC plugin. This is a free plugin that can be added to a GSC account. Files uploaded from the plugin are automatically decoded so users can view them directly from the app. Any of our GSC users are familiar with the file format of the G64. That's the format in which is saved from our Security Center. The G64 version is always preserved to ensure the original evidence is maintained. Users can also upload files from other VMS or systems like body cameras, in-car systems, using the Clearance Uploader. This is a desktop app that makes larger files load much quicker. Clearance supports a wide range of proprietary file formats, which will automatically be decoded in Clearance, just like the G64. if it's a non-GSC customer, the most common way of actually adding files is just by adding files from the computer. So as you can see, I have several different files that I'm just going to select which ones I want in there. And then I'm just going to drag and drop. You can also load them manually from the Browse menu. While that's loading, I'm just going to take a quick break, and I'm going to unmute Andrew Bauer. Andy, do you see any questions in any of our chat windows?
Actually, no. I think it's due to the way that I'm logged in. I don't see any questions coming in. But I'm also stuck at the GoToWebinar dashboard. I'm not sure if it's just me or if it's everyone. We can't see the clearance browser.
Okay, so Andy says we can't see the clearance browser. Hopefully,
Yeah, I just left and connected back in, so it didn't refresh. So I don't know if can you look at the questions to see if anybody else is reporting a problem? There we go. Now I see it.
You see it now?
Uh-huh.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, and sorry, Linda, to answer your first question, I cannot see the questions coming in.
Okay, that's fine. I'll just keep an eye on that. And I see that Mike Jones actually said that now he can see it. So I do apologize that you weren't able to see my screen earlier. I will take just a quick moment, and I will just kind of go back to the home page and show you exactly what I was mentioning earlier. So first, before I do that, I am going to actually click Save. Again, it's very important to click Save, and click Save often when you're in the Clearance app. So this is the home page that I was actually mentioning before, and hopefully you can still see that. I'm just going to open up my browser real quick and see if there's any complaints. So far, I don't see any. Okay, so this is the My Activities portion that I was referring to. And this is the different news about clearance and also the tutorial videos. So if you go back into the home page or under My Activities, you'll see the most recent cases. This is the case that we're working on currently with the test for today's date. Okay, and as you can see, I changed the name of the case to test in today's date. I included the record number and the incident number. The category, I labeled it as assault, and I chose the incident between yesterday from 2:11 p.m. and 2:26 p.m. The tags that I mentioned here, you can create as many custom tags as you need. These are the tags listed here, and then the location with the Google Maps here. And as you can see, it's actually keeping track of the last modification time. This is also part of our audit trail. So we'll get into that in just a minute. But I uploaded these just from a drop-down menu, or from a file that I already had saved on my computer. And all I did was click on them, and there's a file window here that I just dragged into, dropped it, and it started saving it. So I think we're all caught up now, and hopefully we're not having any further issues. And I do apologize for that. Okay, so as you can see, they're still loading here in the system, and I should have a save button, and I don't. I'm going to actually click on one of these, even though it's not completely completed yet. It'll still show up in our preview window. So this was from a file that was actually from one of our GSC accounts, and because it was from one of our GSC accounts and it has the G64 data, it automatically has the watermark, which actually gives you the metadata that is included as far as the incident number, the time, the date, and all the information that is needed on that clip. So I hope that you can hear me okay. If there's any issues, please let me know.
Everything looks good.
Thank you so much. Okay, so as you can see, it automatically will load a preview of the file that you've started updating, even if it hasn't already completed the saving process. We're going to get into that in just a minute. It's not exactly the video I wanted to share with you. And that one's still at 20%. Let me see. This one's at 50. Okay, so it looks like I'm having some technical issues as well. It says that the media could not be loaded either because the server network failed or because the format is not supported. So hopefully I can, let me see, go back to the home page and see if I can just get back into the case again. So in Clearance, you can actually create separate folders if you had documents that you want to actually put into a folder, and you don't actually have to have them grouped in with all of the other video clips. So in this instance, I have a PDF and a Word document that I'm just going to move to our documents folder. So now everything's tucked nice and neatly into our documents folder. And you can create as many folders as you'd like. If you want all your clips in a folder, you can always put your clips in your folder too. Let me see if I can get this working. I've been having issues with my internet lately, so I'm hoping it's not on my end.
Yeah, you might want to try just a different video.
Okay, so this is actually the video that we're going to talk about later on when I talk about our video editor, but this is the case that we would actually be reviewing. In this particular video, you can see that there's already been a couple of masks that have been added. If you were in your preview window, you can always use your mouse and your roll wheel on your mouse to actually zoom in or zoom out. So there's a two-step process in Clearance for saving videos. Of course, it automatically saves the original that can be used with the watermark for court cases and includes all the metadata that's included on it. But you can also download and save it as a format such as an MP4 file that is actually able to be used in video players without having a standalone Genetec player. Oh dear, sorry, didn't mean for that to pop up. I'm going to cancel this. I don't want to actually save it right now. So an MP4 can be viewed with any video player. Our G64 file actually requires our Genetec player, and it is actually a file that can be found on our website. And a lot of non-GSC users, I spent some time in one of our other departments where I actually helped answer live chat, and we would have a lot of live chat and a lot of emails that would come in asking about files that they could not upload because they were in a G64 file, and we would have to direct them on how to actually install the Genetec player to be able to view that evidence. A lot of the times that would come in from lawyers, various different police departments, or members of courts, and so forth. So if they don't have a Genetec Security Center, the G64 is a proprietary file, and you need to actually save it into a non-proprietary file, such as an MP4 for viewing. And there we go, there's my save button. I guess it just took a little while. So clearance works best with some of the more modern browsers such as Chrome, Edge, Firefox, and Safari. Even though you may be able to actually keep documents inside your case, it won't allow you to actually preview it in your preview window. You will have to download it for any of the documents that are available to be able to preview. So clearance has 11 codecs that can be previewed within the clearance preview window. If you go down to the help, the little question mark under the help key, this is where you find lots of information about clearance, including your user guide and how to contact support when you need so. If you go under the user guide and you go under managing files, under file formats that you can preview in Genetec Clearance, these are the file formats that come as a default within Clearance. These are the ones that can be previewed within your preview window. If you need to have additional codecs reviewed in your Clearance review window, there are 80 codecs that can actually be added with a full list of other file formats that can be added through the extended video format. I'm just going to take a second real quick and see if there's any questions. There should be a chat window if there's anything that anybody has any questions or anything that you'd like me to go over. I'd be glad to actually help you. So I don't see anything currently. So I'm just going to click out of that. And I'm going to go back to my home page and go back into my case. Okay, so for file request, there are each department can have its own set of predefined access to that particular department. So it could say that if that department is chosen, anyone within that department would have the same type of file rights, or you can actually change it manually. So there are 4 levels. If you look here, there are view only, view and download, edit, and manage. If a case or evidence is requested, guest users can be invited to the case. Permissions can be assigned to each user to limit or grant their access to the case. Generally, a guest user will be given view only or download rights. Edit permissions allows a user to add new files and data to the cases, while manage permissions allows users to manage and add or remove users to the investigation. Clearance enables collaboration across independent agencies and private sector organizations. If you are looking to add someone from any of your internal departments, if you add users, this is you can add people who are actually from your internal, your own organization. So let's see if Andy's in here. Here's Andy, and I'm just going to add him to our case.
I look suspicious.
No, you don't. And you can also add guest emails. So if you added a guest user, I have created a Gmail account that I use just for my clearance demos. So I'm going to invite myself to this case. So as you can see, Andy and I both have only the view and download rights, but anyone who's in the sales department actually has manage rights. If I were to go to file request and go into the plus sign, I can actually send this invite over social media. So if there was a case in which there was an incident, so this particular video that we're going to watch actually took place in a convenience store. So if I wanted to actually send this invite out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, email, in any of the ways that we actually can contact the public to request any type of evidence that actually may be recorded from a cell phone or a body wearable camera or an in-car system, we would actually create a file request that anybody can actually access. And you can even allow anonymous uploads. So for today, I'm just going to put looking for information. Okay, and I'm going to set my request expiration for a week from today. You don't have to allow anonymous uploads, but if it's someone who doesn't want to give their name or their information, they don't have to actually give that. And if you wanted to add a location and time, you could also do that. I'm just going to request 2 minutes. From yesterday, yep. Now I'm going to create my request. So this link here, you can copy it. And again, this is where you can actually share this from any of our social media. And I'm actually going to open this and I'm going to pause for a second. There will be a QR code that will pop up. So click on show QR code. And I'm just going to pause for a minute. For any of you who have your cell phones out, go ahead and try to actually read that QR code with your phone. See if you can add a picture of, a cat or a dog or any type of generic file that you want to add. We're just going to use this as an example. So from here, again, we've left the contact details as optional, so they don't actually have to include their contact information, but I'm okay, I'll enter my information. So they have to read and accept the terms, and this allows them to actually add information to the case, but they cannot access the case itself. So I will add a file that I have. Just in a quick drag and drop. You could also use the select a file to share as well. So the file has been shared successfully. And if I go back into our clearance under my activities, if I go into our case, I can see the clip that I added. I can also see that nobody else added anything from their QR code. With clearance, it will pop up with multiple different tabs. If it gets too confusing at any time, you can just close your tabs out and you can actually just go back to your home page or My Activities. So I can't quite press save yet. It's not, looks like it's still working on the video here. So hopefully I'll get that permissions pretty soon. I'm going to take just a moment and see if there's any questions. So one of the other things I wanted to share with you is that because I had actually invited myself through this generic email, I've actually created another window in which I'm going to log into as a guest user under clearance. Oops. I apologize, I'm having all kinds of technical issues. I'll just try signing in again. Before I logged on, I wasn't even able to get into clearance because I had too many cookies in my browser, so I had to clear my browser before I even started. I was kind of getting in a little panic because I was like, oh my gosh, I have to actually present and I can't even open with my browser. So as a guest user, they are invited to clearance. They do have to read and accept the terms. And as you can see, they're only able to see the cases that they are invited to. And it doesn't look like that's saved. No, it didn't save. So I'm going to go back in there. Do I want to? I have unsaved changes. So of course I want to save. Oh, it says the entity has been modified by another user. Review the changes and try again. Okay. Okay, so it does look like I actually did invite my other email, so I'm not sure why it's not adding to it yet. Let me just refresh.
Lindy, I think things are going a little slow. I just got the email from you saying you invited me to the case.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we are definitely having some technical difficulties. Yeah. So all I did was press F5 to refresh, and as you can see, the test is there. So this is what a guest user would see. They can see the evidence and the information in the case. And because I invited myself as a guest and I can actually view and download. Those are the only options that I have. I can't add to a case. I can't change anything. As you can see, there are no permissions on the top here. So that's what a guest invite looks like. Okay, so I only have a few more things that I wanted to go over. We already kind of touched base on it earlier, but the other thing I wanted to go over is our audit trail. So if I were to go into the video here and with our metadata, and I go into view details, you can see all the information on the clip, who has permissions, and for any of the non-GSC users, you have the option to be able to manually put in the start time, end time, any of the tags, locations, and so forth. So if I click on the audit trail, it'll show us exactly what has happened step by step and who has done that and all of the details. For our search function can actually be searched by cases or files, but you can also add more filters, such as a category, date and time, case status, case associations, file associations, and device assignments. The more tags that you add to a case, the more things it'll populate so that you can actually search it quicker. So you can always search things under search, or you can also search them under the home page. Okay, so now we come to the video redaction. I loaded up the video editor. So as you can see, so once the video editor starts, and actually I'm going to back up because I'm a little ahead of myself. So how I got to the video editor was I had the video here, and I just clicked on redact video. And it looks like this one can't be redacted at the moment. Try again in a few minutes. So I already preloaded this into the video editor. It does take a few minutes to finally get everything to go frame by frame to actually start with the facial recognition. And you can see from here that it's actually detected two faces. Even though they might be the same person, it's detecting them as two separate people. So videos can be redacted directly in Clearance. We've developed an intuitive tool to ensure non-video editors can easily redact the video in very little time. A face detection analytic can be used to accelerate the process. Front-facing individuals are detected by the analytic, and users can select the ones that will be redacted. If the analytic does not detect certain individuals, such as heads that are turned, faces that are too small or concealed, video quality that is poor, the manual redaction process can be used to mask the remaining faces or individuals from the video. Once finished, a copy of the video will be created by the system. The original video is never modified to ensure the integrity of the evidence. And it's that original video that is actually used for your court cases. So this little blue arrow here allows you to actually go fast forward or behind in the video clip itself. So we're just going to play this. And it actually will, it looks like it's going to pick up a couple of different cameras. It's going to change the direction. And you'll see that this clerk here is talking with this customer, and she's trying to be helpful. And she gives her the information she's requested. And then this woman slaps her. And the clerk goes after her and brings her back into the store. So all of these people that are in the video that are not the person in question should actually be blurred out to protect their privacy. So if we click on Mask All, it's going to create a mask, and it'll create the ones that have actually detected. You can adjust the tracking speed slower, or you can increase the speed of it. When you're adding a mask, it's easier to actually reduce the tracking speed so that you can move the mask along with it. So if you click on New Mask, we're just going to actually put this little window here over the store clerk so that we can protect her. You can use your arrow out to expand it. And if you hold this little blue triangle and move it really slowly, it'll create a mask just to cover that particular individual. And you can size it however you need to. I've got it really going slow. So you can add as many masks as you need to. And there's two different types of masks. You can use a blurred, and you can change the blurring of it. So this is the preview, or you can do a black box. So I've already went through and added a few extra masks. So what you do then is you would create the video, and I'm not going to go through the process because it does take a few minutes, but I already have the redacted video saved in our case. So if I go back to our case, this is the redacted version. And again, the original is still kept to maintain the integrity of the video. As you can see, she comes into picture and we've blurred her out. And we've blurred the clerk out here. It's not a perfect video. I didn't catch everybody, but it's really quick and easy way to be able to actually protect other people that aren't needed to be in the video itself for their privacy. So the only other thing that I really wanted to actually share with you is our registry, our camera registry. So currently, Clearance is offering a free trial until December 31st. This free trial does not include the camera registry. The camera registry is only in our paid versions. So here, I'm just outside of Montreal, and here in Montreal, we have McGill University. So McGill University is a large university. There's students, staff, security, police departments, the Montreal police departments, it can be a real challenge when someone requests video to burn to disk or USB. It's hard to track, it's timely, it's easy to misplace, and it can easily be put into the wrong hands. If someone were looking for video clips from McGill University, they would actually have to go through the process to be able to request the video and have it approved. And sometimes those requests, especially if they're manual, can take a very long time, days and even weeks. By adding our camera registry, you can see a view of cameras available for any of the persons asking for video very quickly and easily. For those customers who are requesting videos in the area that may be covered by cameras that are not on a GSC system, they would actually have to input their camera information on a spreadsheet. So we're just going to use this as an example, and we're going to say that someone has actually said that they needed camera footage for 2 different cameras. So I'm going to choose camera 1, and I'm going to choose, where'd it go? Okay, so it should be the AE vestibule and Delancey Street. Okay, so for GSC users, it's just a matter of clicking on Request Video. You can choose the location. We're just going to click on here, set the location, choose the date and time. So we set around 2:11. So I'm only going to request 2 minutes because it could take quite a long time if you had a very large amount of time that we were requesting. So if you know the case, you can always link it. So for this purpose, I'm just going to type in the test that we have. Okay, so it looks like we're having a little bit of an issue. Let's see if I can try F5 and refresh that. So we're going to request video, and we'll change the date again. I'm just going to give it a second and see if it'll start recording. There should be incident numbers, record numbers, and names that should pop up. Okay, it's not going to let me do it. Okay, so I'm just going to enter in that I'm with the legal department. I'm an investigator. And you know what? I will go into this and I'll get our record number. And then I'm going to choose a file to pretend that it's our subpoena. And that I'm going to need that by Friday. And then I'm going to hit submit. So we've sent our video request has been sent successfully. And let me see. So if I go into request, so this is the request. Each request has to have someone who actually approves it so that it's something that is viable that goes to the case. It can't just be something that is like a cat video or a picture of a clown or something like that that doesn't have anything to do with the case. So I should have an approve button here. Let me just refresh it and see if that actually takes it. So as you can see, this is the case that we're actually adding it to. They're asking for those 2 cameras. And it's still processing. So I'm going to just take a second and see if there's any questions. I don't see any questions yet. I'll just try to view the case. So, and again, this is a guest view, just looking at the camera itself. So I do apologize. There should be an approve button, and once it's approved, then it automatically gets added to the case.
Yeah, I guess because it's still processing.
Yeah, maybe if I close down some of these windows, maybe that'll help. Maybe I chose more than just a few minutes.
Yeah, well, maybe you can just show some of the other ones that have already been processed.
Okay, so I'll just go into the one that I created last time. It's going to show that the request has already been approved. So in this incident, it was partially completed. You can choose partially completed or fully completed if there's additional information that you needed to add to the case. But it does show up in your request, and then once it's approved, it adds it to the case itself. Actually, there's the vestibule camera, and this is, I didn't link it to the actual case. I think that's my problem. So here's our test, and here's the 3 minutes of video that was requested under that. So, and as I mentioned before, you can zoom in and out, and this actually shows you the Google map as far as where that camera was located. And for those of you who are not familiar, this is actually our headquarters location. This is in our AutoView building in the parking lot. And from here, you can download it, view details, and any of the other same options that you would have inside your case. Okay, so in closing, I just want to kind of go over the advantages of using Clearance. Clearance allows you to collect digital evidence all in one centralized location. It helps manage who has the access to the system and to case information. It simplifies investigations by collaborating with users. Secure case information, and it's easy to find cases and files within the system. I appreciate your attention and your time today. If you have any further questions, you can always reach out to us at channelsales@genetec.com. And I hope that you have a wonderful day, and I will stay on for a few more minutes. So if you do have any questions, feel free to put it right into the chat window, and I'll be glad to actually answer your questions. And thank you so much, Andy, for joining me today. I really appreciate it. And thank you everyone for taking the time to actually join me for our clearance demo.
We all done?
I am. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yep. All right. Talk to you later, Lindy. Bye, everybody.
Thanks. Enjoy your day.